The live stream will be starting soon. The live stream will be starting soon. The live stream will be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another Talk Back with the Blind Life, Talk Back with Sam and Rachel. Today is, this episode is July 2025. Hello, Rachel.
Hey, and you know, we got on here before the very end of the month, so good on us.
I know. Well, not only that, but at least towards the beginning of the month.
I know, it's shocking.
Look at us being professional. And hello to Rachel, who's on camera.
You didn't have to announce that.
Okay.
I might.
Oh, we just lost Rachel. Oh, we just said that and we lost Rachel. She's coming back. She'll be back. There she is. Let's bring her back in.
Yeah, it dropped me. That was weird.
Yeah, right after we said that, you ducked out. You're like,
I didn't do it. I promise it wasn't me.
I think maybe the chat messed it up or something.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, hello everybody. So we're starting some new stuff here. I am going to lower mine so we're not just staring at that. Okay. Yeah, so new things this month, but trying some new things. But hello, everybody. This is Talk Back with the Blind Life, our monthly video podcast where we talk about the previous month's videos, highlight some of those, and then answer questions and comments and chat with people live in the chat. So if you're watching this in the future, join us. We don't really have a set schedule, but we'd love to see you guys sometime in the future. We also do giveaways during our Talk Back episodes. So, should we announce the winners for our previous month?
Sure, we can do that. Sorry, for some reason it's not letting me type in the chat, so I'm trying to figure it out. So
okay. I thought we lost you again.
Give me just a minute. No, I'm here. I'm just trying to figure it out. So give me just a minute.
Okay, no worries. Well, let's talk about, actually, we'll announce the winners here in a second. I will go over the videos that have been posted to the Blind Life since the last Talk Back, which was only like 2 weeks ago, as Rachel said. Sometimes we're a little late in the month getting it out. But it was only 2 weeks ago that we posted the last live stream. So I've got a little graphic here on screen. This is just a screenshot of my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to talk about the videos that were posted since that last live stream. So the one that had just been posted was the iOS 26, kind of my predictions for iOS 26 and how I was nervous. Well, I was a little bit more than nervous. I think I was angry at the whole liquid glass and design theme that they are doing now. But during that live stream, we had some people had already tried it out and they said it wasn't as bad as we were thinking it was going to be. And then since then, they've actually updated. They've released a beta 2 of the new iOS 26, and Apple, I think, took a lot of the criticism to heart, not just from the low vision community, but from everybody. Everybody was saying it was too transparent and it was really hard to read. And so the beta 2, they've toned down some of that transparency, which is great. And just a little bit of a preview, I have gone ahead and installed the beta on my phone, and I have gone through it, and I've made a video talking about low vision accessibility with this new update and how to turn off all of that, how to go back basically the steps that you will need to take if you are low vision to make the iOS 26 as easy to see as possible. That video will be coming out probably next week or so. But moving on, the next video that was posted was showing how to switch out the lenses on your Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses. It's super easy. And you might be thinking, why? Why would you need to do that? Well, if you're like me, I got the tinted lenses. I got the sunglasses. And then I found myself, I wasn't using them inside as much because I don't wear sunglasses when I'm inside. So I wanted to, I really had regrets that I didn't get the clear lenses. Well, you can actually buy replacement lenses on Amazon, super cheap, third-party lenses. And so I did that, and I showed how easy it is to pop out the lenses and pop in some new third-party lenses. And there's a wide variety of lenses available on Amazon.
Yeah, I also saw, Sam, in the comments of that video that someone said they got, let me see what they said. I found that you can get magnetic clip-on shades that go on the front of them, so it'll still let it fit in the charger case. So that way you don't, for people that might use them both indoors and outdoors, and you don't want to have to continually swap out the lenses, which is probably not a great idea anyway.
Right.
That you can get these magnetic clip-on like sunglass things. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of accessories for these, and that is actually what one of our channel members, Lawrence, had also said during one of our monthly members-only Zoom calls. He had said that's what he did. He has these little clip-on shades for his, so that he can do that, which is pretty cool. And I am possibly going to be making a video in the near future about some accessories you can get for your Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses, including a way to extend your battery life while you're wearing them. So stay tuned for that. But incidentally, might as well mention that we do have channel memberships available here on The Blind Life, and it's super cheap. It's either 99 cents a month, or if you want to be a little bit more generous, it's $4.99 a month. And that gets you access to some extra bonus things, including joining us for our monthly members-only Zoom call, which we just had ours yesterday. July's call was yesterday. We actually went for like 2 hours, our Zoom call. And it's only supposed to be an hour, but it always goes long, just because we're having such a great time chatting. And there was a lot of great information was shared yesterday. In fact, one of the members was just like, "Oh man, I've learned so much just in this call alone." So if you'd like to learn more about that, check out the description down below of all of my videos. You can also go to the membership tab on my YouTube channel to get information about becoming a member.
Cool.
Yes. Okay. Continuing on, just a couple more videos to talk about. So the next one was I did a blind react, pun intended, to a movie here on YouTube that has a blind, the main character is blind. And it's if you haven't seen that video, this react video, definitely watch it. It was a lot of fun to make. I've heard a lot of positive feedback from that video. People were like, that was great. I loved watching you critique this guy's performance of being blind, because he's not, the actor is not really blind. The fun part about it, though, was that this movie is like a cheesy homage to those kind of campy 80s action movies where the blind guy, he's just a bumbling blind guy, but he turns out to be like this martial arts master, and he uses his cane to beat up all the bad guys and stuff. And it's as silly as that sounds, they did a pretty good job, though. Overall, did a good job of portraying a blind person. As far out as the whole premise of this movie is, a lot of the things they talked about or they showed did have some basis in reality within the blind community. So it's clear they did a lot of research for this character, and I do appreciate that. But check that out. Then next, I was demonstrating reviewing a mobile game called Land of Livia, which is, a lot of people are considering it to be one of the most accessible mobile games. It's a mobile RPG fantasy RPG where you build up your character and things like that. And it's a fun game. And so I did a review of that. And then last
That
week,
that got
sorry,
a
go
lot
ahead.
of comments. Sorry, I was just gonna say that got a lot of comments as well.
Yeah,
I have to make the comment that it's not on Android, which is
correct.
annoying.
It
And
is
I
not
saw
on
that
Android.
was yeah, that was a comment. A couple of the comments on the thing is that it's the fact that it's not on Android or even PC makes it kind of suck. But other than that,
Yeah,
I think people are pretty excited about it.
yeah, it definitely limits the reach. Maybe hopefully they will bring it out. Like I said, it's winning awards for its accessibility. It's clearly was designed with accessibility in the forefront, which is great. Super a huge thank you to the developers. They provided like 5 codes to unlock the game, because it's a free game, but you do have some in-game purchases. And they provided like 5 codes for me to give out to my viewers. Those codes have already been snatched up though, so if you go to watch the video, don't bother putting in the codes. I have heard from others that they're all gone. So, but that was nice of them.
Yeah, that was super nice.
Yeah. And then I put out, I've started a new series. I mentioned this before, new series called Blind Rewind, where I re-release some of my old videos. If you didn't know, I have over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel, and I'm guarantee that most people have not seen all 1,000 of those videos. So I'm re-releasing some of my old classics, ones that I really enjoyed, and maybe didn't get a lot of views because I didn't have the audience back then. But this was one of them. This was my homage to the frustrations of having to plug things in with low vision, and plugging in power cords, plugging in USBs, plugging in keys. It's super annoying. And I did a creative video. I flexed a little bit of my acting skills in that video. It was fun.
It's
I remember.
you used to do a lot more of that. I feel like I, I
Yeah.
think I think you probably have a little bit better what am I trying to say? Like meat and potatoes content now, like really like
Mhm.
nitty gritty content now. But your earlier stuff definitely had a more playful tone to it.
It did. I was younger. I I also wasn't working at the time, so I had a lot of more free time.
That's
Um,
true. Yeah,
to
especially
to
during the school year.
Yeah, yeah. So, but so I'll continue. I've got several videos already queued up, ready to be released in the Blind Rewind series. But that was a lot of fun. That one.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
if you've seen Sam, but there's a lot of comments on that video actually. Just mainly people just like, "Oh my gosh, yes, it's one of my biggest, frustrations and stuff
yeah,
like that." So it's pretty.
yeah.
It definitely struck a chord, just like it did when you first released it as well.
It's one of those things that resonates with everybody with vision impairment, is how annoying it is trying to plug something in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the video that got posted yesterday morning was a review of the MirrorPad Pro, which is a desktop slash portable video magnifier. And I talked about how it's a beast of a video magnifier, and it really is. It does everything you could possibly want, and it does it really well. And it has some unique features that we don't say this very often in the AT world, but I haven't seen this on other devices in the past. So some unique new features, which is really cool.
Cool.
And that was it. That was our wrap up.
Okay. I am just going to let people know that for some reason today, there's always a bit of delay between us actually talking and then it streaming onto YouTube. That delay is huge today. It's really, really big. So I just want to apologize in advance because when you are when you're making a comment on something, we've talked about that like minutes beforehand. So things might be a little bit disjointed at times. So I will do my best. So for instance, Mr. Angel just asked if we could link that video in chat, but I'm not 100% sure which video you're talking about because I don't know which video we were on discussing at the time that you made that comment. So if you could clarify which video you're talking about, I'll be happy to put the link in the chat.
Yeah, and just so you know, all those videos we just talked about, those were just the most recent ones on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So they would be the most recent ones.
Yeah, if you go to his channel and just go to videos, we only talked about the most recent 6 or whatever. Well,
Yeah.
you did release one yesterday that you didn't mention, right?
No, that was the magnifier review video.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, he was talking about the plugging in video. Okay.
Yeah, that was just 2 videos ago, so it would be really easy to find.
Yeah. All right, let me get that link really quick, and then I'll.
While you're doing that, I did see when I signed into StreamYard, there was a notification that said that some Google Chrome has just updated and it's causing some stability issues. And I wonder if that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what kicked me out earlier too.
Yeah, maybe.
So, okay. Would you like me to announce the winners from last week?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay. So they both got back to Sam super quick, which was great. So you already mailed him out, right?
Oh, no, this isn't. No, that was something different. This is we're announcing the winners of the blind Jedi cane from our last live stream.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Okay. So blind Jedi cane. So in order to qualify for this, you had to put Jedi in your comment. And there were lots of Jedis mentioned in the comment for sure. And some of those comments were actually very funny. But the 2 winners, the first one is Nimsoc Productions. That's NIMSOC Productions. They said, great live session. I really enjoyed it. I'd like to be a Jedi someday. And
your wish is granted.
And the next one is AG Play 2290. And they said, did we Jedi yet? So both of you, if you can send an email to Sam, the email address is sam@theblindlife.net, and let him know who you are and give him your address so that he can get those sent out to you.
Yes. Yeah. Send me your shipping address and then I will get that sent out as soon as I return from my next trip, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Okay.
And of course, stay tuned to the end of the stream when we are going to be announcing the next giveaway.
Yes. Which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So I am watching the chat and it's very weird because the live chat, like, I don't know, it's just very delayed. Anyway, though, so if anyone has any questions for Sam or comments or whatever, I've probably missed them so far because I've been a little bit all over the place. So pop them in the chat now and I will get on that. Yeah. Ricky May did just ask, has anyone ever won a giveaway and not contacted you?
Yeah.
They have, but it's been a long time, right?
Yeah. Most people, the winners from last month, last live stream from the previous month's giveaway, they reached out right away. And that's probably what you were talking about, Rachel. Yes. They reached out right away. That was the mystery bundle, the mystery gift. And I got those sent out immediately and they've already received them and they were very thankful of that. Most people do. Most people respond, but there have been a couple. So sometimes we'll do, extra, we'll announce extra winners just in case, but we didn't this time. We're just going to, fingers crossed, both of the winners reach out.
Yeah. Okay. If anyone's curious, something that we've done this time, which I'm not really sure if you guys like it, so we'd love to know your feedback, is the live chat is actually being displayed on the live stream, which, Sam, we might want to change the format, or maybe you already have. I'm looking at okay, you already have. Never mind. I'm going back and forth between our StreamYard screen and the actual live stream. So the live stream still has your videos listed on it.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's hard to see the chat with that behind it, but I think it's easier to see in this format. But if
Yeah.
anyone's wondering how much it's lagging, if you look at your actual chat and then you look at the chat that's popping up on the screen, you can see how long. It's a huge delay. Like, it's crazy today. It's usually like a few seconds, like not even a full minute, but it is very, very delayed today.
Yeah. I think usually it's like 10 to 20 seconds is kind of the usual delay.
Yeah, it's super long today.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, while chat questions are coming in, just a quick update. I will be at NFB next week in New Orleans. So if anybody is going, I'd love to see you and say hi. I will be there. I'm coming in on the 8th, which is Tuesday, and I will be staying through Monday. And a bonus, Rachel's going to be there for the weekend. She's coming in Saturday. And we're both of us are going to be attending the final session, the final general assembly on Sunday. And then, so if you might get a chance to meet Rachel in person as well.
Yeah. I mean, most of it is going to be over before I get there, but yeah.
Yeah. But I will be throughout the week. I will be helping out at the IEA booth. My friends over at IEA, I love those guys, and I enjoy working with them at the conferences. So the booth IEA, it's IRIE hyphen AT, IEA. And I don't know what number it is. I think it's like 81 or something, the booth number. I really should know. But if you're in the exhibit hall and you're wandering around, stop by the booth and say hello. I'll be there all week. And then in the evening times, probably just wandering around, saying hi to people and stuff. Or you might see me wandering around with my big camera, getting some videos.
Yeah. So if you see Sam, definitely say hi. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be there, let us know in the comments. Um, that would be good to know.
Yeah. Maybe I'll grab you for a video to do an interview or something.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Rehan, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, asked if you have any experience using the Pathfinder cane tip.
Oh yeah. I've got the Pathfinder. I did a review of that when it first came out, and then I also talked about it again on my WeWalk video, because the WeWalk cane, Smart Cane number 2, comes with the Pathfinder. I know we actually talked about it in the members only call yesterday. One of my members went up to Boston, and he had taken just a marshmallow tip, and the Boston cobblestones were destroying the marshmallow tip. So he had switched it out for the Pathfinder, and it did great. So it's a great tip. The only thing to know about it is heavy, because it's a full-size ball tip. It's even bigger than your regular ball tip. So it is a little bit heavier, but it rolls smoothly, whatever direction. So.
Okay. Wolf LJH asked, does anybody have any idea why VoiceOver does not work to read comments while you're on the live chat? Do you know, Sam? Or
No,
does
I
it?
don't.
You probably, since you're always in this scenario of it, you probably never really try, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I have tried.
Yeah.
I have seen other blind YouTubers reading the chat with VoiceOver, and it seemed to work, but I don't know if you're in the chat, how that works.
Right, because they may be reading it in whatever, like if they don't stream directly from,
Yeah.
if they're like us, how we have a different streaming platform, they may be reading it from in there or something. It'd be
Yeah.
interesting to know. I have a question for you, Sam, that I was wondering about before. So, Sam and I are traveling in September, and during this travel, we will definitely be where there's cobblestones, which you just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and we're also going to be doing like some light hiking. So, and we'll be navigating the airports and stuff. What canes or cane tips are you planning on bringing? Are you just going to bring one cane and maybe bring a couple of different tips to trade out, or what's that?
No, I've definitely learned my lesson about bringing one cane on it while traveling, and then I leave it in a hotel or something, and then I'm like, I've done that like 2 or 3 times. So I definitely bring backup canes, but yeah, I've thought about this. So since we are going to some rugged areas, I'm definitely going to bring my all-terrain cane from a Werewolf Gear and our buddy Sedona Dave, because that is a heavy duty cane. That's what it's made for.
Right.
I For most things, I'm going to be using either a marshmallow tip or the Pathfinder 360. Yeah, that too. Just because it rolls over everything. It's hard though. Like when we're hiking, I personally, from the way I use my cane, I'm probably not going to want a rolling tip. For the cobblestones, when we're going to Scotland and some of those older Edinburgh, I'm definitely going to use a rolling tip on those sidewalks and stuff because I'm sure it's going to be bumpy. But while we're out hiking up, to a waterfall or something, I might use just a regular marshmallow tip just to give me some stability.
Okay. So what will you use the I already forgot what it's called.
All-terrain cane?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
all-terrain cane. Or is
That's
that
going to be,
sorry, go ahead.
I will definitely use that while we're kind of hiking around, walking
Okay.
trails and things. When we go to the Highlands, I'm going to take that. It's nice though, because it can be used in city, environments as well, urban environments as well, just as well. But
Right.
it's a good all around cane.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Igor has a question, and I don't know if you'll know the answer, but maybe someone else will know. He was asking if -18-degree lenses can be put in Ray-Ban Meta glasses. So if anyone knows the answer to that question, because you probably don't know, do you, Sam?
I do not know. No, I don't know what the specifications are.
Okay. And
I
Julio
could also,
Gomez.
I will
Go
say
ahead.
real quick, or at least around here, Lens Crafters does the Ray-Bans. So you could probably just give them a call. I'm sure you can call
Yeah.
them up and ask them over the phone.
Yeah, they should know the answer to that. Or
Yeah.
they should, if they don't know off the top of their head, they should be able to figure it out pretty easily. And then Julio Gomez was saying they like to go horseback riding, which we do not do.
Cool.
We live in it's called the horse capital of the world. We never are around horses at all. We never go horseback riding. Have you ever been, Sam?
I mean, probably when I was younger, I had a bad experience with a horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because back in early high school, I was dating this girl, and she loved to ride horses, and so I went with her at one time to like the stables and the fields and stuff, and I was just kind of hanging out. She was riding around. I was just kind of hanging out, bored, and I was going to walk to somewhere, and she comes riding up, and I could see much better back then. So as she was riding towards me and kind of curving towards me, I could see her yanking on the reins to get this horse to not run me down, and the thing did not listen to her, and it came right past me, and it
Oh,
was because he was jealous. He had seen me like hugging on her or something like that.
wow.
She even confirmed, like, "Oh yeah, he's jealous. He doesn't like you at all." And so I'm like, you know what? You just turned me off of horses for the rest of my life. They're too big.
They are huge. They are a little bit it, overwhelming.
Yeah.
Joseph LaCastro said, when I go away to a facility every summer, we hike around the lake and I use my cane with a marshmallow, and it does keep everything stable.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it can kind of glide over stuff if you need it to, but also if you need to kind of get some like a like a trekking pole, it'll do that as well.
Yeah. Okay. And let me see. Uh, Dominicus Markavicius. Sorry, I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. I butcher these names so bad. But this says, question relating to your last video, Sam. Do you think desktop magnifiers or desktop readers are here to stay, or smartphone apps for VIPs will take it over?
No, I think there will always be a home for the desktop video magnifier, because now we're not talking about pricing, or affordability and any of that. I'm just saying functionality wise, they're great because you can get a much larger screen. You can also get oftentimes you'll have your XY table for moving the document, moving the book back and forth. You can lock newer ones anyways. You can lock the different axes. Did I say that correctly? Lock the different axes to where if you just want to slide side to side, or if you want to slide up and down, you can do that. And you just have a lot more room under there for writing, filling out paperwork, cutting your nails, sewing, doing puzzles, whatever you looking at giant Bibles, looking at giant photo albums. So they're very versatile. You can your phone screen is just small. You can't get a much larger screen. You can if you use some type of mount, or some type of phone holder that gets it up off the table or whatever. You can get enough room under there to put a big book and all of that, but you're still stuck with that tiny little screen. Even an iPad, like the 12.9-inch iPad, or a 12-inch Samsung tablet, that's about as big as we can get on a tablet screen. So, I've got video magnifiers in my office that have 21-inch screens, 32-inch screens, and it's great. You can see so much. The field of view is amazing. So I just think, and the other thing I talk about quite often is phones are amazing. Phones and tablets, they can do a lot of things really, really well, but they don't do any one thing perfectly. At least they're not going to do one function as well as a device that was built for that function. So apps are great and all of that, but an app on a phone is never going to be as good as a device that was made for that purpose. Ergonomics and all of that, so they're great. Phone apps and that sort of thing. And if we do bring pricing back into it, then absolutely a free app on a phone beats a $35,000 or $3,500 video magnifier any day. But functionality wise, now there will always be a place for a video magnifier, desktop video magnifier.
Okay. Ty Rocky asked if you've ever heard of the Sangean AM FM radio for blind people. Said I really like it, and I think it would be something cool for you to review. They typed SANGEAN.
No. Is it like a ham radio, like a for talking to people, I wonder, or just a regular listening to music kind of radio?
It just says AM FM.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a ham radio, because those are pretty popular in the blind community, ham radios.
It's kind of interesting now that it would still be popular. Like, I totally get that from before, the internet took over. But
right.
Javier Diaz says, I think this was answering a question from much earlier, but they said for voiceover, find the chat message input by going to touch directly towards the bottom of the screen, then swipe left and it will take you into the chat stream. So
yeah, that's the problem with all of these screen readers. TalkBack's the same way, voiceover is, where you can swipe left and right, and sometimes it will not jump into a new area. And the problem is, if you don't know that area is there, then you're kind of stuck. But if you do know that, that it consistently does that, you might just have to do the touch exploration, where you just put your finger down and drag around, or touch in that area until it moves the focus into that area, because it won't automatically do it just by swiping sometimes.
right.
It's a pain.
Okay. Adventures in Blind Videography asked, do you know if the little telescopic cane that you reviewed has different tips? I love this little cane, but I want a different tip.
So there's a couple different versions of that style of cane, and my most recent video was I showed one of them that did have interchangeable tips. Now they're not well, it had a marshmallow tip, just a kind of a basic plastic marshmallow tip. Um, but unfortunately they're not like standardized. It's not like Ambutech. You can't throw Ambutech tips onto these canes. But
Mm,
at least that one does come with more of a marshmallow style. The first one I reviewed had a terrible blunt kind of metal tip, and I thought it was going to work great, but it got caught in everything. But the marshmallow is a little bit better.
okay.
Yeah.
David was asking, do you know any woodworking resources for the blind? Sorry, there's a bug.
So there's a YouTube. Well, he's on. I've seen him on Instagram. I've seen him everywhere. The blind woodworker. Um, he would be a good resource for that. I don't personally know. There's a whole woodworking federation or foundation or something like that. We went to the nonprofit where I work. We took a day trip to one of their conferences, and we got to work with the lathes and all of that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Um, but so but I don't personally know of any specifically for the blind. You could reach out to them, or you could follow that guy, the blind woodworker, I think is what he goes by.
Okay. And Ty replied and said the radio is just for listening to music. Tells you
Hmm.
what it tells you what frequency you're tuned into. And it also has like an alarm and a clock and a sleep timer and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. The blind gamer said, going on a Las Vegas trip, any advice to deal with the loud noise on the Fremont or if I get dragged to a concert? LOL. Or just the casino.
Um, no, not really.
That's not your
I
favorite thing either, is it?
No, and I get a little angry about casinos. I've been to several. There was a casino on the cruise my sister and I took, and then I was down in Mobile, Alabama. I think it was Mobile. Um, recently. No, it wasn't Mobile. It was anyway, down there somewhere at a conference, and we were staying at a casino, and I get angry with casinos because they are not accessible at all. And it doesn't seem like they really have any effort to make anything accessible. And because they're generally private entities, I guess they don't have to, but I don't know. I just best of luck. That's all I can say.
Uh, Mr. Angel was just saying that the last TalkBack update seemed very buggy. It took a few days to get used to.
Mm, I don't know. I think mine's up to date. I'm not sure. I should double check.
Yeah. I am horrible. I never update anything on my phone. Like until it's like, you must update now.
Yeah, they're like, you're the only one left on the planet that has Android 4. You need to update.
I mean, I would get a new phone in that amount of time, but yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm using right now.
Now you're up to date. I think you're on Android 14.
Oh, okay.
Your Pixel's up to date. I think you've got it set to auto update.
Oh, so it probably updates while I'm sleeping or something.
Yeah.
Okay. The Blind Man 21 said if you go to the Division of Services for the Blind in Salt Lake, they have some sort of wood class that you can take. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the nonprofit where I work, one of the reasons we went to that conference is because we partnered up with one of the manufacturers there, and they loaned us a lathe, one of these little portable ones, like a tabletop lathe. And so we
Mm.
started to do woodworking classes, teaching people how to make pins, which is ironic, very useful tool for the blind people. Um, we can make keychains too, apparently, but there's not a ton of variety of things you can do on a small desktop lathe. It's like you're making a pin, or you're making a drumstick or a chopstick or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazingly accessible working on a lathe, because you keep your fingers away from the sharp bits, but you can feel as it's spinning. You can feel how much wood you're taking off and that sort of thing. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is very cool. Okay, I think I am caught up on comments and stuff, but please continue to put stuff in there if not. So here, Don just posted something, said, I'm a former IT guy with some vision challenges. I'm wanting to find a job related to people with vision challenges. Any advice or know of any resources in the Chicagoland area? Chicago Lighthouse for the Blind probably would be a good resource, right?
Yeah, go talk to them. Or Chicago, Illinois State Vocational Rehabilitation to get some ideas. There's the thing is, it's like there's so many jobs that blind people can do. People often kind of get hung up on I can't see, so that means I can't do what jobs can I do? There's actually a lot of jobs. And then people say, well, I can't. I love law enforcement, but I'm blind. I can't be a cop. Well, no, but there's thousands of supporting jobs that support law enforcement that you could do, that would be a little bit more accessible. So that's where talking to some of these organizations or Voc Rehab, they'll be able to help you find what's available in your area and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming if you're a former IT guy, then you're tech savvy, and being tech savvy means you could learn, like JAWS or Zoom text, like some of those things, and you can get certified as a trainer in those, and I think you can find work doing that, and some of that you can find like remotely, which helps a lot of times if transportation's an issue for you too.
Yeah.
But it's I don't think getting certified is a super quick process, is it?
Well, not necessarily. So if you specifically for JAWS, it's literally you can do it online. You can take the test online. So if you are someone is already proficient in JAWS, then they could see what else they need to learn in order to pass the certification. But it is not, if you already know how to do JAWS or Zoom text or any of those types of things, then you probably won't have too much difficulty passing the certification. There might be some more high level things you need to learn, but you already have a leg up if you're already a user of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I'm scrolling back through the chat to see if I see anything else. Geneva Dubois just asked, how do you tell if your TalkBack is up to date on a Galaxy S20?
So go to TalkBack in the accessibility settings and check the somewhere in there. It will have the version number, and you can also just make sure go into the Google Play Store and search for Android accessibility. And it will be the accessibility suite of apps, and then just see if that needs to be updated, and update it if it does, and that should take care of it.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've done it, so hopefully I'm telling you the right information.
Ty just said that they saw a post on Facebook about a feature on the Rayban Meta glasses called Detailed Responses. The post said that it was under accessibility, but he cannot find it. Has anyone found it yet?
Does not ring a bell.
So it's not something you've used either?
No.
I'm going to look it up really quick.
I have heard, though, and we talked about this in our members call, that if you tell your Meta Ray-Ban that you are blind, then they will give you more detailed responses. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's all it is talking about.
Yeah, I think it is. It says Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses offer detailed responses from Meta AI, providing more descriptive answers when you ask about what you're seeing. This feature is enabled in the accessibility settings within the Meta AI app and is currently available in the US and Canada with plans for wider expansion. Users can also utilize the Call a Volunteer feature, connecting with sighted volunteers for assistance with everyday tasks via the glasses camera and open ear speakers. So there we go.
All right.
Was that you making those dinging noises?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was looking up the Android accessibility to see.
Um, okay, Sam, here's another couple of questions.
Okay.
If you wanted to purchase the Mirror Pad Pro, where do you find it? It's not one of those things on Amazon, right? Are there any discounts available?
So if I put the link to the main website in the video description, I always do that. I always put links to in the video description. But you can also just Google Mirror Pad Pro. But it will take you to the IEA website. So IEA is the U.S. national distributor for that product. That product, I think, is Rehan. It comes out of Europe, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but they are the U.S. distributor. But they also filter that down to regional distributors. So I think my buddy Adam Palmer out of Georgia is a Mirror Pad Pro distributor as well. But I would just go to the IREAT website or just Google Mirror Pad Pro, Mirror Pad being one word.
Yeah, and you don't know of any discount codes or anything right now, do you? You're
Oh
not
yeah,
aware of any.
I don't know of any discount codes. It is $3,000, 3,700, I think is what it is. So it's pretty pricey. Just keep that in mind as well.
Okay. So Audio Music Channel said, "Hey Sam and Rachel, my first time hearing your live stream. I have a Kindle. Any advice on where I can go to learn how to navigate the Kindle? I only use iOS devices and I'm struggling with this Kindle."
Is it what kind of Kindle? Is it a Kindle Fire tablet or is it one of the old Kindles?
Yeah,
Let
put
me
that
know
in.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kindle Fire tablet, I do have a video a couple years ago going through the accessibility of the Kindle Fire tablet. It's essentially an Android tablet that Kindle just has Amazon has their skin over top of it. But it has all the same accessibility that your iOS products have, a screen magnifier. The screen reader on the Kindle Fire tablet is called Voice View, and it's actually a very good screen reader. It's still might be one of my favorite voices, like default voices on a screen reader. It's a very pleasing, soothing voice. um,
I feel like that makes sense for a Kindle because it's like
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
your reading device. It should be calming and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
if it's one of the old school Kindles, then it probably doesn't have much accessibility other than making the text big. There may be a reading, a robot reading reading out loud. I don't know.
I think there is because I had a quite old one and I think there is, but it's not pleasant to listen to. It's
Yeah.
very like robotic and monotone and it's just not great. Um Rehan said, "I truly appreciated your video on the standing desk and how important this is to folks who are constantly leaning and bending, getting close to the monitor. Those of us with some visible vision, I mean." And I agree. The standing desk, and then also I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that Sam has created about either his studio setup or his office setup or his desk setup. He has his monitor. Number one, he uses a very large monitor, and number two, he has it mounted to the wall behind his desk, and it can swivel and pull forward. So when he is at his desk, he pulls his monitor like it's pretty much even with the front of his desk. Like he pulls it really close. So he's not leaning forward and crouching in and everything. And I think that's made a big difference. I mean, he still has back problems, but at this point, I don't feel like they can be attributed to your low vision as much as
Right.
they once were.
Yeah. 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 I love the standing desk. I use it here in the studio. This is my new standing desk that I'm at right now, and I use it for recording videos and things like that more than really just using it as a desk in the standing position. But it is nice. I at work, in my office at work, I have these tall shelves, and I have CCTVs on top of those. And so the shelf probably comes up to chest height, and the CCTV is right there in front of you. And I always go to those. If I need to read something, I always go to this one particular one on that, because it's up high and I can stand there straight up, nice and tall, reading, and I don't have to hunch over. So, yeah, standing desk would be the same equivalent as that. And it's great.
Yeah, sometimes if Sam has documentation he needs to read, he'll actually wait until he's going to the office and take
I
it into
do.
the office with him, because he just it's easier than pulling out something and setting it up here, because he doesn't have a CCTV set up all the time here anymore. He used to, but not anymore.
Yeah.
So, okay, Geneva said, which Android between the Galaxy S24 and the Galaxy S25 would you recommend for someone who needs TalkBack? And also, which one drains faster for the battery for TalkBack and stuff?
I don't know if there's really going to be much of a difference if it comes to TalkBack. I've got the S23 Ultra, the big one, and I think, yeah, I'd say 23 and up, 22 and up, you're going to have a very similar experience as far as how well TalkBack works on it, because we're getting to the point with these phones that it's very small incremental updates or improvements from generation to generation, but it's more like the camera is slightly better, or the screen is a little bit better. The processing speed, which is what we're interested with TalkBack performance, isn't really that much of a difference, I think. So especially a 24 and a 25, I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference. I always say go for the older model and save some money personally. But and as far as battery drain, I have no idea. There may be some reviews out there that will talk about that. There's probably some videos where they do like a head-to-head comparison for battery life that you could watch. But yeah, as far as they're going to run the same exact operating system, the same exact, my S23 Ultra is running the latest version of Android 14 point something, and the latest version of One UI, which is Samsung's thing. So a 24 to 25 is going to have the latest, and they're going to be both the exact same. So I don't think there's going to be much of a difference.
Yeah. I think you can think about that on two different things. Like you said, just always get the older one and save some money, or you could go with get the newer one if you feel like you're going to keep it for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like for me, I keep a phone until it's literally not working properly anymore. So it would maybe make sense. I never buy a brand new phone. I almost always buy them secondhand, but it might make sense for me to buy the newer version, because I know I'm going to keep it for as long as it works. Whereas Sam updates his not yearly, but I don't know. I don't know how often do you switch out your phones?
Not yearly,
Way more
because
often than me, but
yeah, because this is a 23, and my iPhone I just got, and it's a 15. So I still we definitely buy secondhand in here in this family, and I'm not getting the absolute latest. I will say though, if you are looking for the best TalkBack performance, then you're going to want to go to the Pixel, because Pixel is stock Android. It's Google's phone, and so you get the best performance on the Pixel. Pixel gets the latest Android updates faster than anybody else. It'll have it, 6 months before Samsung gets it now. But at the same time, I think Samsung has better accessibility options than Pixel. Samsung offers more accessibility than just what you get on stock Android, which is what the Google Pixel is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a give and take.
I love my Google Pixel though.
Yep. Carrie from Carry On Accessibility, she's a Pixel girl. She loves it. So it just kind of depends on what you want.
Blind Gamer said, on the topic of AI, for entertainment reasons, I have found that you can play a D&D campaign using your meta, either as an additional player or the Dungeon Master. Is that what it's called? Dungeon Master? DM? Is that right?
Dungeon Master, okay. Yeah. I wonder if he's talking about Meta glasses or Meta Quest VR headset or the Meta glasses.
I don't know.
Ray-Bans. That's cool though.
Yeah, that is cool. Audio Music Channel said that it's the Fire Max, the Kindle Fire Max. It's the newest one. So it should have the accessibility built in, right? It's just, they said they use iOS. So it will probably be a little bit of a learning curve because if you're not used to Android accessibility.
Yeah. The thing to remember though is that Android and iOS, people get kind of hung up on this, but Android and iOS or iPad OS in this case, an Android tablet and an iPad, they all have the same stuff. You know, they all have, or like an Android phone and an iPhone, they all have a dialer, they all have a contacts app, they all have mail, they all have, you know, a camera. It's just, it looks slightly different, or it might be in a slightly different place. But when you think about it that way, okay, this is a dialer. It, you know, it's got all the same elements that my iPhone dialer has. It just might look slightly different. And then with accessibility, they all have the same accessibility. You can zoom in the magnifier. You can turn on a screen reader. You can invert the colors. You can increase the font size. You can change the sounds. I mean, it's all the same stuff. It's just different, slightly different. The nice thing though about the screen readers is a lot of the gestures are the same. Swiping left and right, double tapping, you know, the basic foundational gestures are the same on iOS and Android. So it does cut down a little bit of the learning curve. You just kind of have to, like Rachel said, you know, spend some time with it and kind of get used to the new layout of things.
Yeah. Okay. John Dyer and Javier both had some comments on the Samsung stuff. John Dyer said that TalkBack on the S25 series has image descriptions and the older models running Samsung TalkBack do not. So if that's something that you're interested in and would use, you know, that might be something to consider. And then Javier said you just have to watch out for the lower tiered Samsung phones.
Yes. Yeah, the A series, these are mid-range phones. They have all the same stuff, but the processor's not as good, so it's not going to be as enjoyable of an experience.
Yeah.
They're cheaper though.
Sorry. Audio Music Channel did say, so here's an example. I'm afraid to open apps on the Kindle. Does Android have an app switcher like iOS? I don't know how to close apps with the Kindle. And
yes.
Does the Kindle work exactly the same way as an Android phone does?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
You should have, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say on my phone, if I pull up from the bottom, I can see all the open apps, and then it'll pull them up on the screen kind of, and you can swipe left to right and choose the one you want. And if you want to get out of an app, you can also pull up from the bottom and then just swipe it up, and that will kind of close it.
Yeah. So it'll either have those gestures, like Rachel said, or it will have a navigational bar at the bottom that will usually have a back button, a home button, and a recent apps button. And they're just little capacitive icons down at the very bottom. You just tap on it. The home button's usually in the middle. I don't recall what the Fire tablets have. You could watch my video. I probably talk about it in my video. But also, you know, there is a YouTube video for everything. So I guarantee you, if you say, how do I access recent apps running apps on my Fire tablet or something like that?
Yeah.
It'll be there.
And Ty said, if you push and hold the power button until you hear the sound and then hold 2 fingers on the screen of the Fire tablet, it will turn the screen reader on. So that's good information if you weren't sure how to access the screen reader.
Yeah.
I have a Kindle, but I haven't turned it on in probably 2 years at this point. And it's a much older.
Yeah, the paper white, was that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, I had one before that. I had a really old one, but yeah, I think the Paperwhite I think that's what the most recent one I have is. I just like I'll read an ebook, but I really do prefer the old school paper book, and my eyes still work well enough that I can read one.
All right, this
Sorry to
not the
rub it
right,
in, guys. I'm sorry.
not the right crowd to be talking about that
Yeah,
here.
I didn't consider my audience. I apologize.
Know the room.
Um,
Read the room.
Doug Dillner, I see that you were asking a question about eSight glasses, but it got cut off on the end. So if you could put that back in again, I'm sure Sam can try to help you out.
Yeah.
Devonna said, I wouldn't own an Android. I used to have one and I hated it. And it just, it's all personal preference. I personally prefer an Android over iPhone. Sam likes them both, but used to really prefer Android over iPhone. And it just depends on I think a lot of it depends on what you're used to.
Yeah.
For one.
If you're comfortable with it, then Android's fun. Android is just anything goes in Android. Android's like, fantasy land. iPhone is very structured and it works. Everything works and it's easy to use and it's easy to understand. And I always jokingly say Android's like a keg party. It's like just whatever you want to do, go for it. Anything you want to put a button right here in the middle of the screen, go for it. We don't care. iPhone's like, no, the button goes in the upper left corner always. So it's just fun. But I forget what I was about to say, actually. Never mind. Never mind.
You were just talking about, we had just talked about Apple versus Android. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you were saying something else about that.
Well, I was going to say also, I hear that quite often too. I used to, I had an Android 10 years ago and I would never go back. Android is way different. If somebody had it even 5 years ago, Android is way different than it used to be.
Especially in accessibility, right?
Yes. Accessibility is much, much better. And just, everything gets updated every year. So they're improving. They're constantly improving. So I definitely say don't judge. If you don't want to use Android, that's fine. But don't judge it based on how it was 5-10 years ago, because it's way different.
Yeah. I think personally, and this is from someone who obviously is not using all the accessibility, but if you can get what you need out of an Android, it's just so much cheaper. Like, to me, that's a huge part. It's a huge consideration. It's just, it costs so much less money.
Yeah.
They're all phones have gotten to the point that they're so expensive now, but you still can save a lot of money by not going with Apple. But if you need Apple to get what you need out of it, then obviously that's what you do.
Yeah. To kind of further prove my point, I was looking for a video to share with somebody just yesterday, and I was searching through my channel with using a keyword, and one of my old videos where I was showing how to I was showing the launcher, the home screen launcher that I use on Android, Nova launcher. I love it. And I was doing a video about that, showing how you can use it to customize and make your icons and your text and all that much bigger. But watching that video, the phone I was using was an old Note, like a Galaxy Note 5 or something like this. And it was, or Note 4 maybe even. And it was like so slow. I could tell by me doing things that it wasn't the most responsive, and the user interface was just so old and dated. And it was only like 9 years ago or something like that. So it wasn't even that long ago. It's just, from where it was to where it is now, it's incredible.
Yeah. Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing technology. John Bungie made the comment that sometimes TalkBack is slow at reading web view content like email and Outlook. Do you
Yeah.
experience that too?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. It struggles on certain things. All screen readers do, really. There's some things that I'm like, sometimes TalkBack won't read comments in YouTube, and I'm like, Google owns YouTube and Google owns Android. How do these things not work together? You own both of these. You control everything about every aspect of both of these things. How do they not working together? Come on.
Yeah, yeah. So Ray Ramirez said hello from Texas, and then was asking, do these desktop magnifiers ever go down in price? Do any of them have the ability to record a video? If so, which ones do? I mean, I'm assuming you can get in. I'm assuming the older ones, especially if you, I don't know,
Secondhand.
is there a good like used marketplace for this stuff?
So I tell people all the time, look on eBay. You can find these things all day long on eBay. Some of these older styles, which are fantastic. Like I was saying before, the one CCTV that I go to every single time in my office is an old Clearview from like 10, 15 years ago. And it works great. And I love it. So you can find these used devices on eBay all the time. Desktop, handheld, portable ones. Usually what happens, unfortunately, is somebody's grandmother had one and grandmom passes away and they don't know what to do with it. So they throw it on eBay hoping they can make some money. And so you can find them really good deals. So I always tell people to look on eBay. There's also some Facebook groups that are specifically about assistive technology, recycling assistive technology. So you could check those. Some people have said they find them in pawn shops before. There isn't any type of regulated or specifically
Formal
for
thing.
yeah. But eBay is a great place to find these things.
Just make sure you vet out the sellers and stuff, because there are a decent number of scammers on eBay. So make sure if you haven't used eBay in the past, like make sure that that seller has sold things in the past and has a good rating and whatnot. I can't imagine that there's that many scammers that are using that as a product, because that's kind of that's a pretty niche thing there.
Not really bringing in the most amount of victims.
Okay. Okay, so Doug Dillner was asking, what e-sight glasses do you recommend? And I think that's part of a much bigger question of just like what wearable in general, which really depends on what you're looking to accomplish, right?
Yeah, it's these are kind of questions that are literally impossible for me to answer because e-sight has never worked for me. So personally, I'm like, no, I stay away from e-sight. They don't work. But I know lots of people that love e-sight and they work great. So it's really hard for me to say, you, Doug, need to get this because that's going to be the best for you. I have no idea. I would have to sit down with you and do a low vision evaluation and try some different things. I can say that the eSight Go, which is the most recent version, is the best one I've tried. As far as form factor and functionality and all of that, it seems to be the best. So I would say, try that out first. I have had more people have success with the VR style of wearables, like the Patriot Viewpoint, the old Iris Vision. I don't recommend the new Iris Vision anymore. I recommend the old one, which you might be able to find on eBay. The Live 1.0. I don't like the 2.0. It's not great at all. The Maggie IVR, which is a brand new one that uses an iPhone. That's pretty good as well. I know a lot of people that love that one. So I've seen more people have positive reactions with those rather than the e-sights or the New Eyes or the iDaptics, the ones that just have little screens right in front of your eyes. The VR with the big wraparound heads. I know a lot of people don't love them. They're like, they're big and bulky and they're heavy, and I would never wear that out in public. I hear that all the time, but you cannot deny that they work. They work for a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, Doug does say that he has RP. So maybe those small screens might work better for him.
They would, yes.
Yes. So eSight might be a good option for you. If you haven't yet, I would really try to find a way to try it out before you actually buy it. And I mean, I would suggest that for like any of these
Anything.
expensive devices, or make sure they have a good return policy, because you really just never know if something's going to work for you until you try it out. And if you go to try it out, like if you want it for a very specific purpose, like if you want it for reading, or, you know, whatever the thing is that you want to do, if it's possible to bring those items with you so that you can actually try it doing those tasks, not just reading a eye chart on the wall, because that may not be what you're trying to accomplish. If you can bring those things with you and try it out that way, that can make a big difference. Because like for Sam, the first time that I don't know if it was the first time or if it was the second time that you went to try out the eSight, they had you like, yeah, they had him look at an eye chart without it and look at an eye chart with it. And well, yeah, he could read further down the chart, but that's not, unless maybe if you're sitting in a classroom, that would be a legit thing, because that's similar to reading an eye chart. But for the things that he wanted to be able to do, it still didn't, it just didn't work for him. And then when he got near those first ones, when he got near the window where it was bright, he couldn't see anything. Like the screen got completely washed out. So definitely try it out first. And, you know, and you might have to kind of push against him. Like, I want to take it in this room and look at this, or I want to try this, because they're all expensive, and you want to make sure that you don't pay a bunch of money for something and then it sit unused in your house, because that sucks.
Yeah. eSight does have a trial where you can have it for like 2 weeks to try it out, but it does cost a couple $100 and it's non-refundable. If you do decide to buy it, then they take that off the price, the end price. But if you decide not to get it, you're out that money. So if you do have a way to try it out in person, definitely do that. And yeah, Rachel's absolutely right. I told them, I said, I want to go walk outside, or I want to go at least outside of his room. And it was in a hotel, and I walked around one of the hallway areas and went over by the bright window. And yeah, instantly I'm like, oh, these aren't going to work, because I couldn't see anything when it was in a bright area.
Yeah.
But she's also absolutely correct. You might need to push. I've been at conferences where I see people walking around in the hallways trying out devices because they want to make a sale. So if that means, you know, you taking a walk across, you know, outside gets them that sale, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I was actually, to further expand on that, I was at an ATIA, and I think I got this on one of my videos. I was at the OrCam booth, and a lady came down, and she sits down, and she says, okay, I want to try and see these. And she lays out a bunch of, I think they were tarot cards. And because that was her hobby, and she wanted to make sure that this device was going to work with her hobby. And
which
I was
kudos
like,
to her. I mean, great for her.
Great.
Because
Great
that's exactly what you need to do, because, you know, nothing against the salespeople, but salespeople are there to make a sale. So they are going to present to you the best parts of their product, and shy away from where it falls flat. So they're going to show you the things that are great about it. And if that aligns with what you're trying to achieve, then awesome. But that doesn't always align with what you're trying to achieve. So that's awesome that particular thing is great. But if that's not what you need, then, you know, don't get swept up in how cool that thing is or how well it does that thing, if that thing isn't what you're looking to do. And
that's why you need to watch The Blind Life, because I'll tell you if it's terrible, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but you can't tell them if it's the best thing for them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We've got several comments on here. Alex Potter said that they found an unused DaVinci on eBay for $450. So
yes, perfect.
That's exactly what Sam was talking about.
Shout out to both Alex and Javier and Ty, all channel members. And anybody else in here that's a channel member, you should get a little cool little icon next to your name in the chat.
Yes,
if you're a channel member.
Yeah,
that's one of the other perks of being a channel member. You get some recognition.
You get to strut strut your
flex a little bit.
icon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Audio Music Channel said, "Hey, Sam and Rachel, I know I'm behind a bit, but I just bought the last part of I for PS5. Is that a game? The last of part I?
The Last of Us, maybe.
I don't know. For
Okay.
PS5, it says, have either of you played it? What do you think of that game? Sam doesn't have a PS5, right? No, you have
I do
a.
not have a no. I wish I did. Sony won't give me one. I've tried. Trust me. Um, now it's probably The Last of Us. Maybe The Last of Us Part One is what they're Part One.
Oh, it could
Um,
be, yeah.
yeah, The Last of Us series. They're kind of touting those as some of the most accessible games out. I did a So Sony has a booth at CSUN every year, and I think this year's video I recorded, or maybe it was last year's. Anyways, I recorded a little demo. They were playing The Last of Us Part Two, and he had all the accessibility turned on. That game and the God of War Ragnarok, there are videos of totally blind players going through and playing those games completely 100% all the way through by themselves.
Really?
Because the accessibility on The Last of Us Part Two, like, watch that demo in my CSUN coverage from last year. It is crazy. It uses audio, even low vision. You can turn on low vision enhancements. It's really, really cool.
That is cool.
It looks like a really fun game. That game is the whole reason why I want a PS5 or PlayStation of any kind.
So Ricky May said, our local library has a lot of these devices to borrow to try out. This might be a good way to try a device before buying it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is
I
good.
don't think our local libraries have any of that stuff, do they?
No,
I feel like you guys would know. Now, Sam, where he works, the nonprofit he works for, they have not all the devices, but they have a decent number of devices there that people can
Mhm.
try out too, which is awesome. And then Javier has a really good point too. He said in your cost benefits analysis, always keep in mind your future needs and abilities too, the potential ones. So because you don't want to be rebuying devices all the time, you do want one that's going to work for you now and then also in the future. Like if it just barely gets you what you need and you have a vision problem that's probably going to progress, maybe that's not going to work for you still in 5 years, and you want to think about that.
Yeah, all very good points.
Okay. Okay, yeah, they clarified, yes, The Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
Okay, John Bungie, and then we're probably gonna have to wrap this up soon. We've been on here a long time.
Yeah.
But John Bungie said, any concerns about hot phones, like the temperature getting hot, since many blind users interact with their phones in a way more intimate way?
No, I don't think it's a problem anymore. It used to be phones would get really hot. I just put iOS 26 on here, and I noticed that first day it was running a little warm. Wrong phone. This phone. But I don't think, like some people think of, your phone getting hot and it's something damaging on the inside. I don't think it's necessarily a concern anymore. I think modern phones are really good at that kind of stuff. They have heat sinks and stuff like that inside of them, thermal paste and all kinds of stuff. So I don't think it's an issue. Back when I was in my pre-Blind Life days, I had another channel called Mobile Tech Videos where I taught people how to hack Android. And I did some stuff to my phone that made it get real hot. I put on some suspect ROMs, operating systems that made it get really hot. I actually I can remember having my phone in between two ice packs, just because it was getting so hot. I was really worried, and but it was all fine. It was all good. I don't think that's a concern anymore.
Maybe just don't mess with your phone.
No, that's what phones are for. They're for playing around with.
Yeah, Ricky May said our library has a quote unquote stuff library where you can borrow anything from power tools to snowshoes. That's
that's
really
cool.
cool. Yeah, I've heard of tool libraries, like maybe a community nonprofit or a community trying to gets together and creates like a tool library, which I think is so brilliant because there's so many tools that it's like I'm only going to use this once, or I'm only going to use this once a year at the most. To be able to borrow it instead of buying it, that's so cool.
Well, we here in Kentucky, so we have something called the CATS network, which KATS, and it stands for Kentucky Access Technology. And it's kind of like that, but it's assistive technology, it's adaptive equipment. They, if somebody needs crutches, you can go there and get crutches or a walker or a wheelchair. So it's kind of similar. So we have something here. So I bet other places have similar things.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe I have hit all of the questions that are in here. Do we want to talk about the prize for this month?
Yes, the giveaway. So this is
Yes.
a good one, guys. You guys are gonna like this.
All right, let me go back. I know you had sent me the email. Someone very generously
Donated.
donated this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam's going to cover the Blind Life is going to cover the shipping, but sorry, I'm trying to find the email here. So it's from, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I don't know if it's Rabin or Robin or Rabane. I'm not sure, so I apologize for that. But from Touch Spot Audio, is that correct, Sam?
Yep, sounds right.
Yeah. Go ahead. What were you
So
saying?
this is they have donated for the giveaway a Pin Friend. This is the Pin Friend 3, the third generation, the latest generation. Pin Friend, a tried and true technology that's been in the blind community forever. I remember when I was starting out as an AT specialist, hearing about a Pin Friend and how this is beloved in the community. People love their Pin Friends. So if you don't know what a Pin Friend is, it's a device. It kind of looks like a big pin, and you can create labels that the Pin Friend, when you touch it to the label, you could create a recording for whatever you want to label. So medication or files, and then when you touch the Pin Friend, it plays that recording that's associated with that label. So, it could be, these are my heart pills. I need to take them with dinner. Whatever you want that recording to be. It's a 30-second recording. And the Pin Friend 3, I did a whole video about this. So if you Google Pin Friend 3 or look on YouTube, you'll find my video. But it has some special extra features over the Pin Friend 2. Imagine that. They updated some things. But it's a really good giveaway here, and we super appreciate them for donating this. And
Yes.
you're not only going to get this, but you're going to get a whole bundle of stuff. They sent a ton of stuff.
Yeah, this is really cool. Do you want
And
to make my screen big for a second, Sam, and I can show some of the other stuff?
sure.
So, yeah, so along with the Pen Friend, we have a ton of accessories to go with it. Like this is a really nice prize. So this one here are tactile talking fridge magnets. So they're recordable magnets. There's 10 of them in here. They're easy to grab. You can use it for voice messages or reminders, or also you can use them as an anchor to put something up on the fridge. And you can re-record on them over and over and over again. And then when you just touch it with the Pen Friend and record it, and then you can read it with the Pen Friend too. So they're these little colorful magnets, just little round colored magnets. They're about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or so. So that is very cool. And then also a pack of voice recording tags to be used with talking notes and address book, which is right here. So the Pen Friend talking notes and address book with audio tags. So you touch anywhere on the cover with your Pen Friend for audio instructions on how to use the book. And it's a notes thing with tags. And this is a thing that has additional
Extra
tags.
tags.
So, yeah, the
Yeah.
recordable stickers, basically. It's a sticker that you can stick into it. And these can be used as like tabs to stick out of the side of it, and you can record on them.
Yeah, because
So
you do get some in the Pin Friend box here. So that's just extras.
yes. And then this one are talkable, washable plastic stickers for cans, food containers, bottle tops, etc. So I know there are times that this would be very handy for Sam in our pantry.
I know. I
So
probably should have
that
I probably should have thought about giving this away. I probably could have kept it.
but you can wash them in warm water and wipe them clean. You just stick them on whatever, a bottle, a can. It shows, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it shows kind of uses for it. And so that you can know what's in that. So, I know there's certain things that we get that the packaging looks really similar. And Sam can't always tell them apart very well.
Yeah.
Here's another set. These are tactile talking stickers. So these have raised bits on them. Says, you could use them on food, drinks, CDs, DVDs, medicine, lists and notes, calendars and diaries, letters, basically anything that you would maybe want it to be on. So that's very cool. And then, so that has 210, and then those are not recordable. Those have preset messages. And then it's got a pack of recordable ones. These are specifically for clothing, also cool. So you can label the clothes with what they are. Do read the instructions on these before you use them, because there are some instructions like you need to put them on several days before you wash your clothes and stuff like that. So pretty cool. And then they have talking rubber band tags as well. So instead of stickers, these you would put the tags have little holes at the top that you can stick a rubber band through and then rubber band it around something. So just basically to use on all different types of items.
Probably would be good on medication bottles because it's
Yeah.
reusable.
Since you're going to switch, something that you maybe don't want to stick it on something because you're always going to be swapping it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, they hooked you guys up. Whoever wins this is getting a ton of stuff.
Yes. And then there's a couple of books in here. These are, I think, more children's books. This one is called The Big Test, and it is from the series of Austin's Amazing Adventures by Dave Steele, the blind poet. And that's pretty cool. Oh, it has some Braille in it as well. It's not completely Braille, but I see Braille in the back. Yeah, that's cool. And this is pen friend compliant. Okay. Yeah, because it has a little pen friend in the upper corner. So that's cool. Something else that I've never seen before, Sam, it says you can cut this part off on the corner of the book in order to orientate the book. So if this is for someone who's completely blind, so that when they try to use the pen friend and whatnot, it's going to be orientated correctly. And then here's another one. It's called the Giant Turnip. And it's same thing. It is, you can cut to orientate. I don't know if this one's pen friend. Yes, this is by TouchSpot Audio as well. So it will be pen friend compliant as well. This is a different author. This is adapted by Henriette Barkow and illustrated by Richard Johnson.
Cool.
So, yeah, so very cool. I think this is an awesome gift package.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to unsolo you. There we go. And I am back, and we are back. And there we go. Yeah, so huge thank you to them. So there was the creators of the Pen Friend reached out and said we would love to sponsor a giveaway, and I said that's super nice. Thank you very much. So huge thank you to them for doing that. Once again, I've got a video about the Pen Friend if you do want to learn more. Probably other people do as well. So if you would like to win this giveaway, same thing as always, you're going to leave a comment on this video once it goes live. So as soon as we're done, Don't leave a comment in the chat here. Once we're all done and this video goes up, come back to it later and leave a comment, and probably just the word pen, P-E-N, with an E, like a writing pen.
Yes.
Is what you want to use that keyword, because that's how we will select the winner. We will search by keyword, and so you want to have the word pen.
Okay, Sam, while I was explaining this, we got a couple more questions in here. Do you want to answer a few more?
Sure, we'll do that, and then we'll jump off.
Yeah. Okay. So Mark Colvin said, I did ask a question, but I don't know if I sent it correctly. It was about apps like ChatGPT and PickyBot doing a workaround to use on the Meta Ray-Bans, and was wondering about your thoughts. Do you know anything about?
So I don't know anything about it, but we just were talking about this yesterday in our members only Zoom call. Once again, we go over a lot of really amazing stuff in those members only Zoom calls. I think it was Ty Rocky. If Ty's still in here, maybe he can mention, there was another YouTuber that made a video recently about connecting your glasses to ChatGPT and getting them to work with ChatGPT. I don't know anything about it. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, but we were just talking about that. I think, as far as I know right now, by default, it doesn't. It just has the Meta AI, but apparently you are able to do it somehow.
Okay, and then Andy Castro has several questions. The See Me cane, can I still get it, and how much is it? Do you know, Sam?
Yeah, as far as I know, the last time I saw him was at CSUN this year, which was back in March, and he said he was showing it off. So I'm assuming he's still selling, and he was even talking about working on a new version, the See Me Cane 2, number 2. The price, though, I'm not sure. I think when I did my review, it was about $125, around that. So I don't know. I haven't kept up to date with how much it is and availability and all of that. He has a website, seemecane.com. Probably wouldn't be too difficult to find it.
Yeah. And then the other question he had was, does the Android or the Amazon Fire tablet have a headphone jack? I'm assuming it does, but I don't know.
It does. Yeah, I believe it does.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since I reviewed it.
Yeah, I don't know, because I never used it that way. But if it has the ability to, speak the stuff, then it seems like it would be available.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, keep in mind, it is just Android, regular Android, so it will have Bluetooth and that sort of thing too.
I just put the See Me Cane website in the chat.
Ah, good job. You're on it. You're the best moderator we've ever had.
I'm the only moderator you've ever had. And then he also asked if you know about SSDI, and that's beyond your scope, I think.
Yeah, that's not really a focus of mine. You could check out Blind to Billionaire, his channel. He has gone deep into SSDI and SSI and all that. That's pretty much all he makes content about anymore is financial stuff. So you could check out his stuff.
Yeah, and then Devona said, I have an iPhone 14 iOS 26 run on it, or I have an iPhone 14. Oh, and then I think she's asking, is iOS 26 run on it or not? And then what phone should I go to after it? And I think what phone you go to after that is really going to depend on what you want and what your budget is. But do you know about iOS 26 on iPhone 14?
Yes, from what I've seen, I think it's iPhone 10 or above, or maybe iPhone 11 or above, or 12 maybe. Yes, 14 is definitely on the list. It should. You can go into the check for updates, software updates, and click on beta updates and turn those on, and then it will show up. If it's compatible, iOS 26 will show up as an option, and then you could choose to update if you want to. You don't have to. and you might actually, if I remember correctly, you might have to sign up for beta updates through a website or something. It's been 16 was the first time I did it. So it's been a while, but yeah, it should be compatible.
And
And
then
then which one to go to? Like I said, I'm on iPhone 15. I've got the 15 Pro Max, and it's fantastic. It works great. I mean, the 14 is probably still perfectly good as well. It really comes down to screen size would be a good, if you're low vision and you want a larger screen, then look at that. And then your budget, if you want to get the latest and greatest 16, then you could do that. But 15 would be just as good. I've been very happy with the 15.
yeah, and if you're like me, you'd keep the 14 until it just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, until it's like got duct tape on it and stuff.
But people are helping us out in the chat here. Audio Music Channel answered and said, at least the Fire Max Kindle does not have a headphone jack. So good to know. The most recent one does not, which I after I said that, I was kind of worried about that you can probably connect Bluetooth maybe to it. I don't know, but more and more now people are going to Bluetooth rather than having a cable. And then Mark Colvin said, I got ChatGPT to work through Meta Glasses using WhatsApp. It's pretty cool for image description and questions. So
yeah, I'll have to look into that and maybe make a video on how to do that.
Yeah. So, okay. I think we got everybody. So again, if you want this really generous prize pack with the Pen Friend and a ton of accessories from TouchSpot Audio, which we thank them again for being super generous to give these out to everyone, or not everyone, to a lucky person. But if you are interested, you get a Pen Friend, you get a Pen Friend, everyone gets a Pen Friend. But if you're interested in that, once we wrap this up, which we're going to do in just a moment here, give it a few minutes or come back tomorrow or whatever. When this video is listed on Sam's channel, go to the comment section there, and anything you want to comment, but include pen, PEN, in that comment.
Yes.
And then Sam, like he always does, he uses a randomizer that will just look for that word in the comments and chooses winners. Yeah.
And if you go, since this is a live stream, it's going to show up in the live section of the YouTube channel. So there's videos, there's shorts, there's lives, there's playlists, there's different tabs. So go to the live section and it should be the most recent one.
Yeah. All right. Well,
thank you, everybody. If you're attending NFB, I look forward to seeing you there. If not, we will see you for the next talkback in August.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the chat.
The live stream is over. Thank you for watching.